This is an announcement today of national significance. What we're announcing is, between ourselves, Borders Council, the Scottish Government, we're establishing a feasibility study task force led by Scottish Enterprise, supported by Visit Scotland and Transport Scotland, which will look at the feasibility of establishing here at Tweedbank, at the current terminus of the Borders Railway, a site and a home for the great tapestry of Scotland. This is an imaginative plan put forward by Borders Council. The Great Tapestry of Scotland, of course, its trustees over these last few months have been taking it on tour around Scotland, and tens of thousands of people have queued up round our country to see this magnificent tapestry embroidered by voluntary effort in communities. So it tells the story of Scotland from the parting of the continents to the reconvening of the Scottish Parliament. I remember when it first visited the Scottish Parliament last year, with no effective publicity apart from internet publicity, that thousands of people went to see it. Indeed, tens of thousands of people went to see it. In fact, there was queues stretching out of the Holyrood Parliament towards Holyrood Palace. I mean, I thought they were queuing up for First Minister's questions, but no, they were queuing up to see the great tapestry of Scotland. And I want to congratulate Borders Council for their imagination in seeing the potential of a permanent home and site for the great tapestry of Scotland at Tweedbank. Now, what is the connection with the Borders Rail? Now, everyone in this community and around the Borders and in Midlothian are excited by the coming of the railway back to the Borders. We all know the real importance in terms of the communications, in terms of the transport and the employment possibilities that's going to open up for Borders communities. But in that excitement of seeing the railway re-established, we haven't yet grasped the opportunity, the extraordinary tourist opportunity, the visitor opportunity that the Borders Railway is going to open up. The Borders has unrivalled attractions. Attractions which have been heavily invested in recent years. Obviously, near here, Abbotsford and the whole Walter Scott aspect, John Buchan, Traquair, the whole variety of the fantastic products of the Borders, the tweed, the cashmere, the excellent textiles, and the magnificent produce of the Borders. If we, and this is what the Working Party and the feasibility study are going to establish, if we can market this for the great tapestry investment, the investment in tourism along the Borders line, I believe that we can create one of the greatest, if not the greatest, tourist railway lines in Europe. Obviously, a great tourist line requires steam trains, because that is what the tourists will want to travel on as they go through the magnificent scenery of this part of Scotland. We have, of course, the other terminus in Waverley Station in Edinburgh, the busiest railway station in Scotland, and Edinburgh, where 7 million tourists each year visit our capital city. And we all know, with the correct offering, and this will be the correct offering, that a substantial percentage of these tourists will take the opportunity in 1 hour to travel down the Borders line, or perhaps stopping off at the Mining Museum in Midlothian on the way, which will take them slightly longer than an hour. But the opportunities for compelling visitor attractions along that line are manifest. So that is exactly what the feasibility study will establish. The infrastructure that we need here, the home for the great tapestry of Scotland, looking at the feasibility of a great retail offering, where there's plenty of scope here, and how that should be designed in such a way as to make sure the Borders Railway is not just the greatest commuting success of any railway line in Scotland, but becomes one of the great must-see visitor attractions, tourist lines of the continent of Europe. But one thing I want to make absolutely clear before we leave, ladies and gentlemen, the feasibility study we've announced is not to say if this is going to happen. It's going to say how it's going to happen. This will happen. The Borders Railway will open next year. The first steam trains will run on the Borders Railway next year. And in 2017, 2018, in that year, then this Great Tapestry Centre will be built, and we'll move the project on to fulfil its potential. And that's exactly what the feasibility study will be doing. Not if it's going to happen, but how it's going to happen to best effect. And one last footnote. The Scottish Cabinet decided yesterday to back this project with hard capital. That decision was made in Arbroath. So where better to take the decision, in Monday I should say, but to take the decision to back this project in the historic setting and in the lee of the Abbey of Arbroath, to make the decision to back the Borders as the home of the great tapestry of Scotland and to fulfil the enormous potential of the Borders for the Scottish economy. Thank you.